Yeah. So here is the Frankenstein monster. Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Nidd. I am here in my little hut system. As you can see, my helmet is off and I'm not dying. So, when I logged back in, like, I've got all green bars in here, right? There are green bars everywhere, all around here, and there's green bars over here. And if we, here, let's, oh, and yeah, now we're in the new update, so if I go and just press J, bloop, helmet is on. I like that. Although I put the helmet, it looks like it just put on the helmet on suit, actually. So our custom suits are going to have some problems, it seems. Like if I go back over here now. Yeah, engineer suit. Yeah, I'd have to put on my actual skin suit again. Hello, I'm here. Alright, so I'm back to me in my suit. So it looks like the J just puts you into the default suit, not into the suit you had on before. But one thing that we should look at really quick here is if I go, here, let's just go outside. And we look at the tanks over here. You're going to notice that they got some bars on them now. So that one's got only one, but this one's got, so blue means it's stockpiling, I believe. It's got 2 bars on it. And over here it's got 2 bars on this one. It's also stockpiling. And this one here has 2 bars and it's green, which means that it's giving oxygen into this system here. Now at the end of the last episode, you'll remember that these were all still at 0. Now this happened as soon as I logged back in. So maybe it was just a glitch. I'm not sure. Like when I log back in, then they start showing oxygen again. Like if we actually die, because that's still a thing, I guess. Yeah, it shows 100% here now. Yeah, that's a strange bug. I was hoping they would have fixed that bug by now in the latest update, but they haven't, it seems. That was I think it was Elemental Blaze. Sorry if I got that wrong, but I believe it was Elemental Blaze that was telling me that this is a bug where it has something to do with, like it doesn't calculate your speed properly. So even when you just tap things, sometimes it thinks that you hit it at some crazy amount of speed, and you die. So that's kind of why that's happening, and as I understand it. But I came back in here to show you guys something. What was it? Yeah, if we go just to, actually I can just do it from anything, right? Here we go. We go to the oxygen. Self-name these guys, but you'll see they have 29%, 23%, 26%, 29%. So they actually do have oxygen in them. I believe it was also Elemental Blaze that was telling me that the rate of oxygen, ice to oxygen is really low. And I looked it up, and it looks like it's, and this is just from, I think, a Space Engineers forum post that I read, so I don't know how accurate this is. But what I found was 1 kilogram of ice will produce approximately a 0.00189 kilograms of oxygen. So not a whole lot. The conversion is really low. And I have these turned off for a reason, because I went out and I grabbed a whole bunch of ice. So if you go, well, I've got 3 kilograms of ice. I think I came back with about 4. As soon as it went in there, it started producing more. Yeah, so I've got about 3 kilograms of ice. And I turned them off just so that it would stay in there so that we could play with it a little bit, like we were going to do in the last episode. So if we head out here and go grab bottles. So I don't have any bottles in me right now, right? And I don't have any, yeah, I have one in the system here, which is filled to 63%. So I can put that, oh, it's in the oxygen generator, number 2, which is turned off, probably why I can't pull it. So let's make another bottle. Production. And we want a bottle. Missing items, silver and nickel. Are we completely out of these things, or have I just totally foobarred the system? I think I foobarred the system. I was in the middle of getting prepared for this episode, so why don't we do that first? The system, where am I going? I can't. I'm getting lost in my own base. He get lost in his own museum. That's a Indiana Jones joke. But what I want to do in this episode actually is start using these sorter blocks. So I've got just this one reconfigured so that it'll go into this guy here. It's not doing anything right now. It's just I just literally put it down. But as you can see, the system needs to be refitted, and so I'm gonna have to do that, kind of going like run this one space back all the way behind here instead, and then put these sorter blocks going into the back of each of these dealies here, right? I guess before I get too far, a couple of corrections to make. I think I had been accidentally crediting Redstone 1 for the actual suggestion of putting an alien in these vents. He came up with the name and with the coloring for the base, which was awesome. So it was the Alien Air System trademark, right? Which is the name of this guy, and it was Elemental Blaze actually that came up with the idea. Elemental Blaze 79 that came up with the idea of actually making the alien that runs around in this vent, which is an awesome idea. And if you guys want, I actually did a live stream last week where we did a design session trying to make an alien that would actually fit in these vents that could run around. We came up with something at the end of it that actually worked. So if you want, you can. I think I posted. Yeah, I did. I posted those all to YouTube in, I think, 40-minute chunks or so. It was a 2.5-hour live stream, I believe, where we designed it, and we came up with something at the end that actually seemed like it was small enough and it would work. So it's on the channel. It's also on my Twitch. You can watch the whole thing there as well. It's all broken up there as well. But thank you for all of the support in the comments on those posts as well as in the live stream itself, and the help I had in the stream. So that was great, and we came up with something. And Redstone 1 was watching there as well and came up with a good name for the first alien. So it's going to be Ek Alien, I believe is the name. I was kind of thinking of making, like, alien. So we'll have Ek Alien as the first, and then we'll have Alien as another one, like Alien 1, and then we can have like Aliens as another one, and Alien Resurrection as another one, and things of that nature. And because if you watch the video, you'll see that I don't have a solution for making them turn corners. So we'll have to kind of like make one that fits in each of the like sections, and then so each one can be named differently, and they can be, so there'll be a bunch of them just kind of all moving around in them. So I still got some design work to do with that, and I'm going to do a testing grounds episode where I do some refinements to it and make one that'll actually work in here. So we're not going to do that today. Today we're going to try and work on some of this sorting system. But thank you guys so much for all your help. One last thing too, I think Redstone 1 said that when you were looking at these vents, like see here, it looks kind of bluish in some of the light, some of the way the lighting is coming down, right? And that made me think, and it does, it looks cool, and I like the blue. He said it looks like the color of ice, right? Because ice is what they refine. But I thought it would be cool to just make them the same color as the oxygen tanks that we have over here, which are blue. So the idea here is, I don't know how much of this will get done in this actual episode, but so here, let's just change that to blue, and change that to blue. Oh wow, it is a really blue color, but in the light now it looks almost like a turquoise, a greeny blue. That's weird. Over there that looks blue, but that doesn't. The light's changing it. Oh well. Yeah, and they're red because they're off. I've turned them off, right? And I think it was, so where did the ice go actually? Is the ice in this one? Yeah, so all the ice went over here. Okay, let's just take 1,000 of it and put it into this one. And I wonder now if I turn this one on, or whatever. So if I turn that one on, it's full. Now let's go turn it off. Hopefully it didn't use up all the ice. But yeah, so now it fills up here, right, and I can put that in my inventory, and now I've got a little bit more time. And as we walk around, you'll see, so my oxygen is down to 66%. There'll be a message that comes eventually that tells me that I need to refill. So yeah, so the next thing that we need to do now is I need to refit this. So I move this over here, and what I want to do is basically replace this stuff, right? So instead of having, and this is why the system wasn't working, right? Because it's not connected anymore fully. Oh, actually, no. Oh, no, it isn't, because this goes into this. And so if I take this one out, right? See, they've got the arrows on all the sides, and they've only got connections on the back and the front. And the arrow points to the way it's going to sort, right? So if I take some of this stuff down, and then so for the moment, we could just reconnect this down to here. So you see here too, right? There's an arrow there. So we take all this off. There's an arrow going into that one. Now what I want to do is put one of these in the back of all of these guys. Now the refineries don't have one on the back, they have them on the side, so we'll have to put them in from the sides instead. And I have to reconnect this all up so it still looks good, right? Because one of the points of this was originally to make it look good. But I want a sorting block to go into the back of into each one of these things one by one. So I have 1, 2 of those. So I have 4 big refineries, and I have 1, 2, 3 of these guys, which is actually perfect because each of these. So there's 3 ores in the game. I don't remember right offhand, but I'll look it up which ones they are. But there's 3 ores in the game that will refine faster in blast furnaces, right? So I can dedicate each of these to refining that. So I know one of them for sure is iron, right? So dedicate one purely for iron, and then one for the other 2 guys, and then the rest of them will be split between these refineries. So I can say, you know, this one does, I think I need to kind of like have 2 for each of these, or I think 2 for each of them, and I can make one of them purely for uranium as well. So I can put sorter blocks into all these guys. And then the other thing that we need to do is I need to have it so that these only take ice, right? Not that it, you know, they kind of already only do that, but hey, it'll be fun. So I'll hook them up so that they only take ice. That ice goes into those ones only. And then we have these assemblers over here. Now these should be able to just be hooked into the system and take whatever they need. So I'm gonna have to reconnect this, because right now these are coming from these guys here and going from the refineries over to here, because everything just takes everything right now. So we'll have to run the tubing in behind maybe and connect it up to this central pipe here that will then run off to the other 2 sides and only do ice into those 2 over there. And then I was thinking maybe to get to these guys, those 6, we could run another tube underneath here. So in this area, run a tube all the way underneath here that'll connect up into these guys, right? So into the back of one of these maybe, and then all of them are just connected off onto the system. So we'll disconnect like those there and do all of that. So let me get started on this. Like there's gonna be a lot of just laying pipe and building. Let me see what I can do on the back of this, and I'll come back and show you my progress when I've got a little bit more done. Okay guys, so I'm back, and it's a little bit later in the day. I did a bunch of work and then I had to go to work. So I'm back after my job. And so I've done a bunch of things in here. And as soon as I got started on this, I realized that there was a flaw in my logic on how I was planning on doing this. And I'll show you. You probably already figured it out. But these sorter blocks, they're great. But they only go in one direction. So once you get the stuff in here, you can't get it out unless you put another one on the other side. And so these blast furnaces, they only have 2, I think. There's none on the top, there's none on the sides, there's one on the front and the back, and there's none on the bottom. So the only thing we can do is stick them out the front, which means the design of this place is going to have to change somewhat. And a few things are going to have to, now that I look at this too, like if I need, and it's going to be minimum 2 blocks, right? Because you have to have another sorter block on the front. Because if we just put normal conveyors right into the front of this, then the system, like, and it's hooked into the system, right? Then it'll just pull right in, pull anything into here, right? It'll ignore this sorter block if we have like just generic conveyor on this side. So we have to have another sorter block coming out this way with the arrow pointing that way, and have it be an out with everything type of thing into the system. So this is going to have to change somewhat. But here, let me show you what I've done so far. So you can see that we've got the refineries over here, and on the sides of the refineries, they all have sorter blocks going into one side and up there as well into that side up there. And I've set them all up so that, so like this one here, it whitelists only uranium, right? And it's the uranium sorter, as well as this, we can't get to it from the side, but up here, if we just show you one more. Nope, missed it. This one is the silver. Oh, and I didn't name this one, so let's do that while I'm here. The gold and Silva conveyor sorter. And it whitelists just gold and silver, right? Oh. Like that. And then on the actual, so I've gone around and done this on all of the of these guys and on also of the blast furnaces, right? So if I look in this guy here, this was the uranium one. You'll see that I've named it the Uranium Refinery, but that's all. Like, I just named it so it's appropriately named in the system. And I've done all of the refineries and all of the blast furnaces. So we can just kind of go into here and say refine, right? So you can see I've got a platinum and stone refinery, I've got a gold and silver refinery, a silicon and magnesium refinery, and a uranium refinery. And I gave that one its own because uranium takes a long time to refine. So I gave it its own. So just looking on the wiki for all of the different ores that we can have. So we've got all of these guys, right? And then we also have, so if we go, I think it's arc. Yeah, arc furnace. I've dedicated a arc furnace, one for nickel, one for iron, one for cobalt, and these are the ones that the arc furnace can take, and they can take and do really quickly. I think I got that right. So I've got the arc furnaces dedicated to the ones that they can process really quickly, and I've got the rest of these guys processing the rest, but only a max of 2 per one and a solo one for uranium. So whenever I throw stuff into the system, it should move it to the appropriate dealie and refine, right? Then what I've also done is, so the way that I've got this going, right? So this single line comes in all the way along the top, comes in down the top here, hooks into this one, which then goes straight down the back and into all of those, and then they come out the sides and go up there and up over there, right? To all of those guys. Then on the bottom, we make this guy go all the way down. So I took one of these concrete pillars off the bottom and I put a, like I could have just put a small one, but I figured it'll look better with a big one there, right? Because then this looks like it's actually sitting on it. And I brought this from underneath all the way down the middle and then split it up here and into the back of these two assemblers. Now I didn't need the sorter blocks here because I'm just right now planning on having them just be connected, like all the sorter blocks connected together. But since I was in the process of doing it, I figured I'd put them in. But they're like whitelisting everything or blacklisting nothing or whatever the default is. So they should just take everything. So those come up into the backs of those, and then these ones are connected up to here like they always were, and then these ones are connected over here like they always were. So all 6 of those are connected. I disconnected stuff here from the ice, the oxygen generators, and I just ran a line from there all the way into them on both sides, as you can see, into these. And these ones, I don't think I've actually whitelisted these ones yet. No, so let's just do these ones together. So basically all I've been doing is going in here and say this is a ice sorter, and then I want to whitelist, and then you can go down here and whitelist whatever you want, right? So this is really handy. You can say, like, they've got some groups which are really handy. So all components, just hand tools, all ingots, all ores, right? So if you wanted to just say, when I drop stuff off into my system, just take all the ores and put them into this refinery, like in the beginnings when you only have one, that's a great way of doing it. Then you don't have to do them all. But we want to do in here is just specifically find ice and add it to the whitelist. So now this sorter will only take, drain all. I wonder if I need to turn that on. I don't remember. I watched the tutorial, but it's been a while. I might need to say drain all to just pull it automatically. I think that was a new feature that they added. I'll double check that, but I believe I need to say drain all for that. Now that I look at it, I didn't even notice it there a minute ago. And then we have to do the same, disoriented. We have to do the same thing over here to this one. We'll call this one an ice sorter as well. And we're going to whitelist ice. There we go. Oh, and then I probably should name... Well, these are obviously only going to do ice, but what do we have them name at the moment? Oxygen generator 1. So we'll say oxygen generator right. And oxygen generator left. And then at least I know which one might... Of course, I have to be facing the right way. I'm going to assume that I'll be smart enough to face the front when I am deciding what they should be, which one I should be looking at. So, oops. Left. Alright, so there we go. So now these are all hooked up. Now the problem is that everything will go in, everything will be refined and generated, but nothing will come out. So the next problem to solve is that. Now I have to look at this in a little bit more detail and figure out how I can run this all out. So the basic problem and premise that I'm thinking is, out the front of these ones, I'm obviously going to have to run a sorter block and then connect it, and then from there connect them all together. So I might do the same thing to the front of these that I did to the back. Just don't know how good that's going to look. Or if I do exactly the same on the front of this as I did on the back. On these guys, these go into the sides here, so I could try and come out the side here, but of course I need 2 blocks to get that out, unless I just run a pipe up and then I can put the sorter block. That might work if I do a corner one and then do the sorter block up, and the same thing here. So run them maybe straight up, and then run those ones straight up the side, and then run these ones straight up the side, and then hook them all up together maybe up here somehow, and run the reverse line out the side of this back this way maybe, and then back into the system over here. And then we need to do the same thing with these. We need to get them all out. Now, these assemblers, not too tricky, right? Because we can run maybe a line straight up the middle. Oh, no, we got to do out of the front of these ones as well. Well, these ones have a lot more openings, right? They've got holes all over them. So I might be able to do something a little bit sneakier on them to keep the look and all of the walk-ups on the fronts of these. And then, of course, the ice has to come out the sides of these maybe as well. Anyhow, I'll play around with it, but I'm going to have to try and find a way to run all of the conveyors up so that they all have out-facing sorters, and then run them all up into a single line, and then hook it back into maybe one of these going down this line out all the way the rest of the way here. This is going to be tricky, and then hook it back into this somehow. This is going to be really tricky. So let me play around with this, and I'll be back. Okay, so we've finished. This was a make it fit job if I've ever seen one. Oh, I must have dropped something over here. Let's go get these construction components. But yeah, so here is the Frankenstein monster. So now, before you guys say anything, this is overkill, and there's definitely some things that for instance, the ice, like, oh yeah, I died. It was that weird glitch again where I was floating right here, moving almost like this, and then I went like this to land, and I just died. So whatever. Down here and I'm dead. But yeah, so like obviously like the oxygen generators, they'll only take ice. So this is definitely overkill, but whatever. So it comes in, it only goes in there and it comes out there, right? Shoom, straight back to the system. I get the same thing on the other side. The way I solved the problem over here with the assemblers is they're all hooked together, and I don't care individually at this point. There is no sorter block interface with assemblers at the moment. Like, obviously you could say it only takes certain things, but you can't like have them auto make specific things and pull just specific things. So maybe in the future, if that does come, then that'd be great, and I'll refit this once again. But for now, this will work. So they're all of these are connected like we showed you before. Right, so these connect into there, those connect into there, those all connect into there. So we got a big roundy round all around. And in the back, I just flipped one of these so that one goes in, one comes out, and this all goes down underneath into the system below. Then over here, I have the this interesting solution here. So they come out in through the back, out through the front, and then up into the system. So I refit this so that the pipe comes in through here and then into this conveyor, runs down the back into this one, and then like we had before, into all of those ones, and then out the fronts of these up into here for this one. The one in the middle goes down and down through here, out through that, and then the one on the very bottom does the same thing, goes down underneath and through over there, up into the back of that system. And then all of the refineries on the sides here, they come out the sides, go up, and then back into this, and the same thing on the other side here, and this one also comes out. And this one was really fun because you have to have a block on the side, so I had to come out, down, around, back up, and then into there. Could have gone up, I guess, and down and around the same way, but whatever, that works. So it comes out. So now there's only one way in and one way out to all of these machines on all the sides here, right? There's an in and an out for everything. All the ins have filters for only specific things, and all the outs let everything out and then back into the main line, which all goes back out this way. So they're all connected. And this thing is crazier than ever now. But it looks, I don't know, I think it still looks kind of cool, but it's crazy. And to show that we have functioning things, let's go to Little Betsy. If I just go, oh no, inventory. And let's say refine, I don't have anything in those, but let's go to the assemblers, like assembler, and over here, so that now you can see I can actually pull this stuff in, right, in over to here, so these things actually work, right, boom, boom. Same with this one, right, I can pull them over into the system, all this stuff can now come over, and same with like all of that stuff. And so now the refinery, so this one here is the iron one, right? So if I was to go into this system here, I've got some Fe in my inventory, and let's say iron. So we got assembler 6, got iron in it, where are we here? Arc, the nickel, the iron conveyor sorter, platinum refinery, iron arc furnace, right? So we got the iron arc furnace right there. If I was to take this, let's hide everything. And so if I was to take this and put it into here, and then we go down to the iron, did I already miss it? No, we didn't really see that, but it would have taken it in, it went way too quick. I didn't have very much on me. I should have emptied this out first so you can see that that went in there. But yeah, so that will go into there, but then it just stays in here. So this is the update for this room. So this room now has sorting capability, or pulling and sorting capabilities. I guess pulling capabilities, right? It only takes the stuff that each thing should take. So that works out great. The next part that we need to then do later is, once everything is in there and refined, same with all the assemblers and everything, over here we should do something similar to all of these containers and like dedicate, you know, containers to different types of parts maybe, right? And put sorters in all of these as well. Now this is going to be another fun one to try and figure out how to connect them all in properly and put ins and outs as well. But yeah, so it'd be nice if when all of the ore is turned into ingots, all the ingots are pulled out and put into, say, like just one of these things is only about ingots, right? Let's say this is just the ingot one, and it'll just automatically show up in there, right? So that's the next thing that we can do later. But yeah, so there we go. We have a sorting and pulling system for our refineries and our arc furnaces, and everything is reconnected back to the system, and it's all functional. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.